Greetings, geeks. Welcome to what we think is episode 476 of Geeks in Space, a special After Dark episode. Tonight, we are talking about Tron, and I couldn't do that without all of these fine people that you see before you. We have Chris DeBona.
Hi.
Nate Ostendorp.
Hail the MCP.
Rob Roseboom.
Yeah.
Okay, so tonight for drinking, I'm going to attempt to drink anytime a piece of special effects footage is reused.
Oh.
Hmm.
You're going to be wasted.
There's a few.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, so around the horn, how did we feel going in?
It's an old favorite, so I knew I was going to enjoy it.
Yeah, of all the movies I've seen, this is the one I've seen most recently. So, I wasn't looking at it with as critical of an eye as I did this time. So, there were parts of it I enjoyed more. There were parts of it which didn't hold up.
Yeah.
So this isn't going to be a popular view, but I do not like this movie. I did not like it. I did not like it when I was 9 and saw it in the theater. In fact, I remember thinking, so this is what my mom must feel like when I make her watch all these Godzilla movies. It hadn't occurred to me that I could actively dislike something in the theater until I saw this movie. So that's what I'll say.
So I hadn't seen this movie since Tron Legacy came out. I rewatched it ahead of then. So I haven't seen it in, 10 years. And I had enjoyed this movie actually a lot. But I think it's walking a weird line between being utterly sincere about a thing, which we'll talk about as we go along, but it is utterly sincere about its thing. And also being an absolute technical marvel, and then in other times looking like absolute horseshit.
Totally. It is amazing how uneven the special effects are. Like the computer graphics, I did not appreciate it before having watched a bunch of other 80s movies with CG in them, how good they were.
Yeah.
CG.
And yeah, some of the green screening or whatever is just abysmal.
For me, the thing that really kills me is the costumes in the system. They never work right. Like they're always like a little overexposed or underexposed.
They're absolutely terrible.
They look like 70s Doctor Who.
Yeah.
So, do you remember when we watched Escape from New York? It would cost how much to make that?
Yeah.
Like nothing, right?
Yeah.
And it made $43 million. This one cost $17 million to make and made $33 million. So it's like they did with a lot less money and green tape, kind of a better job than some of the Tron scenes.
Well, I kind of feel like a lot of this is sort of proof of concept sort of movie making,
Totally.
like those movies that came out, Skylord and
The World of Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, like, hey, we can do this without people.
Yeah.
I mean, not really, but we've made a movie and it's out, right? So,
But I would be hard pressed to think of a movie outside of animation. So here was my closest movie that I could think of to this in terms of like a gamble on the style. I was thinking about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. They went in a real left turn from what most computer animation looks like. They really did a different. So much that, it's probably the first time that somebody made a CG movie that wasn't a cell shader or basically looked like Toy Story. It was like and I feel like this movie kind of exists in that same level. They commit. There's like 30 or 40 minutes of committed to a style. Like even like movies that play with similar notions. The Matrix is still just dudes running around. It's just a little greener. You know what I mean? Like, Like a lot of movies that play with the same size, the same ideas. They don't commit to a look. But man, sometimes this look, man.
Yeah.
All right, Rob. You're first.
Let's get this over with.
So we're starting out with the light cycles, man. Bam. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do this now because this shot gets reused. Man, this scene is just
It's fantastic.
It's classic.
It's fantastic. And like I played the heck out of Deadly Discs and the Tron stand-up game, and the Snake games, and yeah, I just love this game.
We had on our Intellivision a Tron game that was unplayably
Terrible.
bad. Unplayably
So
bad.
Famously bad.
Yeah, and my brother and I played the crap out of it. Like, we were good at what is absolutely a garbage video game. And I played it again on a RetroPie, and I can't even play it. It is so bad. It's so bad.
I was young enough when this came out that me and my friends, we threw bundled up socks at each other and we used frisbees to defend ourselves.
Oh.
That's how deep it went.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm a little embarrassed. I'm flushing here, but yeah, let's keep going.
So my first thought at this was they've got the Death Star plans here.
Yep,
they're just studying. They're making some plans.
Sure. And then you said something about arrows.
Oh, I like that his costume design is just straight up 3 arrows pointing at his junk. Like, I just want you guys to know, you should really be looking down here at my cod piece. So
he's also got sort of like it's a samurai helmet horn thing on the sides, though.
Yeah,
there's clear inspiration.
This shot is not even as bad as a lot of them, but particularly when they shoot his helmet in profile, it is so clearly just a piece of cardboard with some creases on it. Like, it's unfortunate.
Poor David Warner.
He's better than this.
Like that looks terrible.
Yeah. This is like,
that looks like public access.
Yeah. And the wrinkles in the cardboard, but also the wrinkles in the fabric. Like, those two things together just make it look horrible. And I'm not even getting into like the fact that technically what they're doing is interesting. They're with the reflections and all that, but
desaturating.
Yeah. They shot all this stuff in 75 millimeter. I mean, they did crazy stuff here, but the lights never reflect properly. So like the back of his head isn't illuminated evenly. Ugh, indeed. You got a note on here, Chris?
Oh yeah, just I don't know why I put it there. I think I put it in the wrong place.
All right, cool story, man.
This has 2 Babylon 5 characters. So that's Londo Mollari from Babylon 5, and then you have Sheridan from Babylon 5. So this is like a Babylon 5 pre-reunion. So
fair enough.
That's all. Is it? Yeah.
So I like this little monologue here.
You believe in the users?
Yeah, sure. If I don't have a user,
If I have a user, who wrote me?
So the religious stuff smattered through this movie is the thing that, as a kid, just went right over my head. I didn't even really pay any attention to it, but it is so overt.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then the guards are like, another religious nut. It's
But yeah, I do feel like I should have pulled out a sample of the user. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, that is one of the things that this is missing most, I think. Like, if the whole plot is that users are godlike, shouldn't they be more excited about actually meeting a user later? I mean, if you're on an adventure and you have some random guy with you, and it turns out that dude is Odin, you're going to be pretty excited once you figure out that that's Odin, right?
Dude, that's Odin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the only thing I said here is that, this is one of those things where it kind of broke down for me. Cause like one, you mentioned the font, whatever. But like, if you look at the things in his background, he's got street signs. He's got a coffee maker. He's got a coffee pot. I mean, this was the 80s, right?
Sure.
And like a rice cooker or a kettle and like some fat power cables, which I guess are for his computer. It's just it's just not a normal desk. And so Fitz, a friend of mine, he actually located one of these lamps. And, I'm like, but it's just not nerd lamp. It's not. Yeah. Anyway, so it's just oddly dressed.
So I wanted to make a couple of notes here. First off, everybody's only allowed one Big Lebowski reference for this episode. So use it wisely. I'll have to save mine, or I'm going to try to save mine. But I'm gonna caveat this by saying this is Kathleen's Lebowski reference because she walked through the room right as we start. That she says, "Oh, it's Baby Lebowski."
Baby Lebowski, that's cute.
But also, that font does not fit in this movie at all. That is a romantic comedy font. That is not a Tron font. And I had a really hard time with that.
Also, this is the only time that Jeff Bridges is not wearing a T-shirt, advertising his own arcade.
Isn't he wearing a kimono?
And why is he wearing a kimono? I mean, he's upstairs from a bunch of kids.
He's a Japanophile, man.
It's weird.
This isn't a romantic comedy?
No, he doesn't fall in love with Tron.
No wonder I have so much trouble with this movie.
Yeah. Wrong genre.
Right, but Tron really likes Yori, and I really like Tron, and Yori really likes me, and Yori.
Yep. We all do need to say "end of line" far more often.
Yeah.
So
I was sure "end of line" was going to be your drinking rule.
Oh, that would have. But there's only like 4 of those, right?
Yeah, he won't get nearly as hammered as he needs to.
No, there's no chance. So all of the stuff
I
with the
love
tanks,
the interior of the tank, man.
And that's exactly what I wanted to say. Just looking at this thing spin, I mean, in a lot of ways, it's the same trick as the Escape from LA thing that we were talking about. But it works.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all on the screen.
I think so. The way that as he sits in there and looks at the screen, and then the screen actually rotates with him and everything, they cared. I mean, that's
and he's got like coffee.
It's a gamer chair, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. The tanks, just everything about the tanks visually. I mean, when you make your list of like your 10 things or whatever that you're going to remember, those tanks are right up there. They're just below the light cycles and the recognizers. But this interior, I just adore it. I really do.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
Let's see, Nate.
I'll let Nate go first.
Did I overshoot?
Yeah. That's okay though.
But I don't see what we're looking for.
I don't want to get busted.
Don't go too far, man. So
we're just looking for bit.
Yeah. Yes. No. Yes. No. So here we go. So Nate, what were you going to say?
Yeah. I mean, my point was just like Bit actually has 3 states because he has his gray state, he has yes, and he has no, and like
and my
comment.
And my point was that it seems like for all of Clue's humanity and conversational abilities, Bit seems much, much smarter and have way deeper resources. So he's like using Bit as like his, so think I can merge with this memory Bit? And Bit's got a, can you? All right, so he's the one who parses the world around him. It's like, I think Bit's smarter than Clue.
You think Bit might be the real protagonist of this movie?
Just saying.
I do say though, I have to drink every time Bit shows up on screen because it's just like it's just like 2 different animations, and that he just wiggles around.
He's great.
I like Bit a lot. Yes. No.
No, 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 no.
No.
So I suppose if you're looking for icons in the movie, they don't
Yeah,
come.
the recognizers.
They don't come much more than the recognizers.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a great example of like weirdness of this show. Look at that explosion.
Yep.
It looks like a cartoon.
I mean, I'm sure
You
it
know?
was. That had to have been hand drawn.
I mean, was that just composited on after the fact?
I would
mean,
assume I don't think you would math that in 1981 or whatever.
I don't know.
I mean, I think that a lot of these shots were only rendered as line art and then painted anyway. I mean, it was kind of like
the far right and the far left recognizer look like maybe the same one, but they're all slightly different angles. I mean, they're individually rendered. I don't know.
I don't know. I love the look of the recognizer, but also again playing Tron with my brother. The recognizer was scary. When the recognizer shows up, you're gonna die. The recognizers were hard, but mostly that has to do with the fact that the Intellivision has this dish for the controller with like 16 directions. In an era where every other controller had 4 directions, and it was really picky about your directions, so you would just die because you were running like one click off from the angle you were supposed to run. Ugh. Whoa, there's a whole thing happening. I don't know who's feeding back, but somebody's doing it, and it's awesome.
It's probably me.
So another note that I just wanted to have, I had a hard time as a kid, and I've always had, I don't know if I'm face blind, but I've always had a touch of the face blindness. But you put a helmet on somebody and take away their hair. You put them in these goofy costumes and the black and white. And besides the dude here, that's mine, I'm taking it. Besides the dude, I like the other characters don't like you. The other characters don't have enough screen time for me to like quickly register their faces.
You don't recognize Alan without his glasses,
or the Dumont,
without her long blonde hair.
Dumont's the dude, the elder guy.
Sark.
So what you're saying is Clark Kent's outfit.
Yeah.
Disguise.
Oh yeah.
Will trick you every time.
Totally fooled it.
Every time.
Why does he go into this phone booth and Superman comes out?
It's really confusing. There's probably like a boom tube to Krypton.
Yep.
That checks out.
So Nate, you had a very funny thing here.
Oh yeah, no, I was saying, I imagine that program torture is like going through a continuous integration build process, because that's how I feel whenever like I submit something to build and it fails with a bunch of errors and I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I only say the tier's a nice touch, but I don't understand the point of torture. I mean, the MCP should be a higher ring on the processor
Sure.
than Clue, this foreign process that's been inserted. So he should be able to just rip him apart, read his memory, and go to town. I don't get the point of the torture. This seems very human.
So I didn't put this at a specific time point, but I did think that a lot of the story, the underlying story, the battle that's occurring within the system, really does feel like it's a bunch of people arguing about whether or not we should have like a monolithic kernel and a closed source operating system. Like all of that stuff like really fits in, but they angle it all like from a religious angle instead of, from the thing that we're probably a little more familiar with in the open source universe.
I think it's really all about our police state.
Yeah. Sweet helicopter.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
So here we are.
Wait. So he goes, "Thank you, Peter. You can go now." So this guy has his own guy who just sits in his office and does nothing.
Yep.
His job is to look out the window. He wasn't even looking towards the elevator as he approached. He was technically slacking off. I mean, his whole job is just to stand there and then to be dismissed.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how you know this guy means business. This guy has some
He
power.
is Mr. Business.
He literally has a dude who just stands in his office when he's not there.
Yep.
That is awesome.
He keeps his office company.
You know,
Yeah.
that guy right now is going to get his face at Starbucks. That dude waits in all the lines for him. That guy, you know, just stands in parking spots so he can go. I mean, that guy's awesome.
I feel like maybe what they should do is invent passwords. Because then, if you sit down at your computer, you don't need a guy there to stop you from just sitting at your computer.
Oh no, I don't think that guy does anything. I think he just stands places.
He's a stander.
Yeah.
He's a professional stander.
He's a stand-in?
I mean, you've seen that blazer before. That's
Sure.
only for standing in lines in. That's not a going out blazer or a guard blazer.
So
I like that this is basically a prototype of the 2005 Microsoft Surface, the giant coffee
It's a
table.
giant table. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, remember when it was like the mid 2000s and they had like the big ones that they would like release videos of, and they were like, ooh, multi-touch. Before,
Yeah, no,
yeah,
that's exactly what this is. Yeah.
There was that great parody on YouTube of it. It's like the Microsoft Surface. It's a big damn table.
right. There is absolutely no possible way that you use that keyboard for typing more than "Hello World" without just immediately having your wrists seize up into like human claws.
I don't know. I think this was the era of the speak and read, and so this is really based on Texas Instruments.
Yes.
You know, ergonomics.
Text to speech.
Would you like to
technology,
play a game?
The sheep says. Ah.
I
right,
am actually
so-
very impressed at the cubicles here.
So, of all the people in this movie, the one I feel worse about is the Minotaur that lives in the center of this cubicle labyrinth. Just knowing that one day he'll be digitized and have to have stupid blue horns and play with frisbees.
Yep. It's worth noting as well that they reused this shot a couple of times.
Well, I will also point out this is a matte painting, so they did have real cubes for just this part here, but then after that it was a matte to the horizon. And the guy asking him for his popcorn is the same actor that plays Ram inside the world.
Oh.
I didn't catch that.
Maybe you have a touch of the face blindness.
And also, wait, do you see the hanging picture of a dude?
With
But
the
it's like a
necktie?
hanger.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hanger, but it's a dude hanger, not dude. I'm not using my reference.
No,
right.
don't use it. Save it.
But with it, that is a weird hanger. I'm just gonna call that weird.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't want to be like his cube mate. He's freaking me out.
All contacts between our system and other systems. Finds anything going on that's not scheduled, it shuts it down. I sent you a memo.
The comment I had it on here is that like this sounds like about 200 AI network security pitches that I heard.
Right.
Hey, we're going to identify irregular network activity and shut it down. It's like, yep, you basically stole that from Tron.
Yep. Every threat penetration program in the universe.
Mhm.
They just basically that's
It's
Alan,
really about
right?
endpoint security, you know.
Laser bay.
I'm glad they have a laser bay.
Yeah, what the hell is a laser bay?
This is where you keep your lasers.
It's a bay full of lasers. It's like the Bay of Pigs, but for lasers.
Why isn't it a like laser cathedral or laser?
Well,
closet?
it is.
The
In real
Hall
life, this is
of
the-
lasers.
This is they were just building out the beginnings of the National Ignition Facility over at Livermore, and that's all this is. And it's breathtaking inside. It's just a ridiculous temple to big lasers. There's 192 like monster lasers that they aim at this target. But yeah, not in this movie, in the real world.
Well, here goes nothing.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the wordplay this guy uses because it's super dad joke.
Just said, here goes nothing.
Well, what I meant was.
Actually, what we propose to do is to change something into nothing and back.
Oh, you're so clever, you weird old man. Don't hug me when this is done.
It's not just like dad-splaining, but it's like mansplaining to the woman who's running the experiment.
Right.
It's like, come on, Dumont. Anyway, I guess this is where my rant starts.
Uh-oh.
No, not yet.
All right.
Yes? 1403. Let's see now. Where are we? Okay. You have something at 1347. We did that. Okay. Yeah. Go to 1506. So basically, here's the thing.
Here we
I
go.
want to point something out. So they're teleporting stuff, right?
Oranges.
But they're teleporting things. They teleport
Creepy hug.
Flynn later, right? And like, so under Dillinger's leadership of NCOM, they created teleportation, right? And this is not a small achievement. This is a big, big achievement. He managed to make enough money and direct enough research from dumb video games into the laser lab, a multi-billion-dollar facility, to teleport a thing successfully. I mean, you think I give a crap about the game of Snake?
He's going to get kicked out as soon as they find out he didn't write Space Paranoids or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
he's gone.
He's out.
Well,
I think this is a very childish view of executive management. That's all I want to say.
My note for this is that the future documentaries about this event will say it's an amazing scientific breakthrough that overshadows the horrors of the first trial runs. We know it was pretty awful, but it was worth it in the end if you really think about it.
Yeah.
So is this a wanted hug or an unwanted hug? I was a little confused.
She's doing one of these, like
it seems like I didn't want that hug.
Yeah.
So I guess we don't really have to worry about him like being back in a couple of years anyway.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Voila. Great.
Voila.
Send me to Hawaii.
Yeah, but you got to purchase your program 30 days in advance.
Not funny.
I think the comment was on their safety gear, like how they have these green goggles. And I was saying, like you have a laser pointing basically at a coffee table in the middle of a workspace, as opposed to where it should be, which is like completely enclosed in something that won't like let the laser through it. Like, yeah.
Yeah, there's
go ahead, Zan.
There's no backing, there's no berm.
Yeah.
I mean,
OSHA would not be crazy about this.
Yeah.
Well, also he's got his sleeves rolled around his PPE, and he's here's the thing. I spilled some methylene chloride that I was using for doing some plastic welding on my skin, and I was wearing gloves, and the gloves immediately like shrank and shriveled, and I'm like shit, even though it's not that bad for you, but it's like I'm like, they didn't even have that level of protection, and they're around multi-megawatt lasers, and I'm like, what is going on here? This is
irresponsible.
This is not real. This is irresponsible. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Taco.
Mm-hmm.
Won't that be great? Computers and the programs will start thinking, and the people will stop. Well, I'm going to stay around, put some data through.
Again, under Dillinger's leadership, they have thinking computers. The master control program is a general AI that is self-improving.
He's like 1,632 times smarter than he was when Dillinger wrote him.
Yeah.
I mean, he achieved the singularity with AI, and they think that Space Paranoids guy is just going to unseat him. Oh, look, I have a printout. Ooh, no one with a dot matrix printer could match this.
But I do like that the guy is just like, won't that be grand? The AI is going to take over. Gonna go import my data now. It's like, I'm going to just go do what I'm told by the control program. Whatever. Talk about accepting the inevitability.
Yeah.
this vehicle kind of bothered me because I'm just not sure what class of car it is. Like, it looks like a van, but it's like a stretch van.
It's extra long.
It's a fancy van for storing your AI.
Yeah.
It's like a van they had lying around the lot for doing filming out the back, and then they just slapped an NCOM magnet on it.
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
So
wait, this is the point where I show off my my cool shirt.
All right, show your shirt. Flynn's Arcade.
Oh, Flynn's Arcade.
Yeah.
There you go.
I do think that everything about Space Paranoids is just kind of like this perfect little weird game that totally could have existed in this era.
Yeah, it could have. With great graphics, but the real thing is just like a dot going boop, 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 boop,
Right.
boop, 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 boop.
I don't know about that name. I do think this arcade is awesome.
Yeah. And this got me thinking, is there a physical space that exists like this anymore?
Pinball
No.
Pete's.
Before, well, no, I don't mean, of course arcades exist, but I mean the idea of the arcade. Like kids aren't hanging out there anymore. Like,
Yeah.
before us, it was the park, and then we got video games, and it was the arcade. But I don't think there's a physical space like that anymore, is there? I mean,
No,
besides
not.
like sports or something, but that always existed too.
Rob, we're under quarantine. I haven't been with another human being in like 4
Again,
months.
Again, I don't mean this exact
You have a
moment.
wife and children.
Yeah, they don't like me though. I stay in this box.
I mean in society as a whole, not inside your house.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've heard the closest cases that I've heard are things like libraries. And I know that self-selects to a certain population, but there are not a lot of places that you can just go and be.
Yeah.
Like, what was the arcade in the mall? The West Shore Mall?
Aladdin's Castle.
Yeah. Like, every time your mom makes you go to the mall for something, you go there, even if you don't have a quarter. And you just watch people play video games. And this is what, 1988?
We made a club that would go to Aladdin's Castle and play video games in 7th hour, and we got credit for it.
That's pretty cool.
So,
Well, yeah. I mean, growing up in Salt Lake City, we would go to the arcade at Trolley Square, and it was fantastic. It was dark and just filled. I mean, it's huge. It's filled with video games. It was on the 2nd floor there, where the Whole Foods is now. The Whole Foods. Anyway.
Rob, you have to say it. I never saw that. Or is this you, Chris?
It's me. So this sign doesn't say exit; it says taxi. It's got all this zany stuff, and I'm like, what are they thinking in this set dressing? It's just wacky.
I mean, this whole place is like a teenage fever dream, right? I mean, Flynn literally has like couches and stuff in a loft above his arcade that he owns.
Which is pretty cool, except for the aspect where he's hanging around with a bunch of 14 and 16-year-olds, it's a little weird. It's a little uncomfortable.
so here I'm chipping in my Lebowski reference. I'm going to point out how this carpet really ties the room together. Gentlemen. I mean, look at it.
Yeah, it does.
It really brings together this whole loft.
And here's where he changes out of a Flynn's t-shirt into another Flynn's t-shirt.
Yeah.
And before the nerds get upset, I know it's rug, but carpet is acceptable.
Yeah. Oh no, you win.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
This is
Unless
cool.
it's up to Nate and Chris to try to, one up you now.
No. I was going to go with that too, but you beat me to it, so I'm giving it to you.
All right.
It is weird that he's just like changing his
such a
clothes in
set,
front of the girl, but I guess he used to have access to her, right? That's what they said.
Yeah. Well, you can see actually almost the seams in the set. I mean, this is so clearly, patched together inside a soundstage, and they just have like the lights outside it, left over from some bad noir community college thing. Anyway.
I guess I already
We're
made
20 minutes into this movie and 40 minutes into this podcast.
We haven't gotten to the system yet, guys.
Okay, well, I'll try to be a little quieter.
I mean, my notes stop
line.
at
I
very soon.
hated this line. I hated this line so much as a kid. I still hate it. I can't believe
All right, let's do it.
says it. It's so lame.
Shall we dance?
It's not cute. It's not clever. It's just lame. I'm like, there's a point as an actor or an actress where you have to say, you know what? How about I don't say this? How about I say something else? I still cringe. I don't know why. And I just hated it.
It's not unreasonable.
And all I'm saying is that if our own people can't get access to their programs, well, you know how frustrating it is when you're working on a piece of research.
A lot of these things actually really do remind me of the notion of like the creator's supremacy over their creation. Like that concept like runs all through this, and that's, I don't know, maybe that's why I liked this movie as much as I did, is because like that feels more real to me, that notion, than a lot of the mumbo jumbo that you see in a lot of movies. Like, yeah, I mean, of course this guy cares. He built that thing.
Mm-hmm. I can see you resonating with this. I mean, your career. Come on.
Sure. But I mean, just in general, all the open source folks, the fights that we see in mailing lists over, you know, the supremacy that people want over their creations and their desire to control and shape it. I mean, you see that literally every day in every open mailing list. And I mean, in this case, you know, the guy's, you know, theoretically paid by his corporation, although it seems like he was more important once upon a time. Oh, did we overshoot the big door? I love the big door.
No, not yet.
No.
It's at
They haven't- yeah, they're breaking in now.
They reused the same door in Legacy.
Yeah, they did.
Which is kind of awesome. I'm not going to show
go
it.
back? Yeah, anyway, so you can skip the door. It's fine. But the door is pretty important.
It's beautiful, honestly. I assume it's real. You don't build that, right?
Yeah, that's actually at the Livermore installation. That's where they filmed that.
So you've been to that door? Or do they not let you touch that
door? I didn't go around back of the National Ignition Facility, so no.
I mean, it seems like they should have let you have that door. Just saying.
I think this was filmed in the NF. I think I've been on this staircase.
Ah.
That's the funny thing about it.
So I actually had some questions about this whole sequence. Because all of this equipment, like, is this in the real location?
I don't know if they filmed the machine room.
Because this to me,
it probably.
This to me looks so close to what I imagine that stuff really looks like in this era. But I'm not sure if that's because I saw Tron, and so I think that this is what things looked like back then. Or if this is how things actually looked, or they even filmed on a real set. I was wondering if anybody knew.
No, this is how it really looked in machine rooms back then.
Sure.
So, yeah, absolutely. You have the raised floor, you've got the drop ceilings, which are lamentably bad.
The weirdly color-coded bits. Who wants it?
I had to look it up. It was so obviously placed. I'm like, that's something.
Yeah.
You had to look it up?
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Take away my nerd credentials.
You've never heard Klaatu Barada Nikto?
Even in Army of Darkness, it was like half the damn movie.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Army of Darkness. That's it. It sounded familiar, but I was just like,
yeah. I mean, it was from the day the Earth stood still.
It's classic.
Gort,
and then they used it in Army of Darkness.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gort. They credited him.
They gave Gort credit, man. So yeah.
All right, so now it's time for this whole thing.
Yeah.
Whee!
Yeah.
No.
This is the shot that you probably should screenshot for your background for an episode.
I did already.
I figured.
Yeah. And you can't let this go for too long. We're gonna get copy struck, man.
This is like, and they ripped this off in Tron, but also, or I'm sorry, not in Tron, in The Simpsons. They did this
that's right.
pretty spot on. But the other thing is that, and when I was trying to think of good drinking rules for while I was going through this, the other one that I was thinking of is crossfades or obvious allusions between cityscapes and the system, the grid. Because there's a lot of like, clearly these are meant to, echo city streets or street lights.
Well, yeah.
Buildings.
And that's how they started with both Tron and Tron Legacy, is they went from this visual to the streets below. So
they're taking it to the streets.
Taking it to the streets.
Careful, if you sing any better, you're gonna get us copyright struck. All right. Oh, hold on. Crap. That thing goes by like 9 times. Same friggin' shot.
I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah, and it's
cool shit. Man.
It's awesome. It's only like 5 seconds though, and I bet if you strung together all of its appearance, it's like a 0.05% of the movie. Like it's a significant slice. Gotta get your money's worth, man.
They've got the nice gradient though on those curved pieces. That's one thing.
The garage shaving.
Yeah. I actually kind of wonder if that was painted or rendered.
Sure, but even if they would think, hey, it should be like really discreet.
Yeah.
Shades.
I mean, this is before they invented garage shading, man. I don't know. That's not true.
No, it wasn't.
That's not true.
Well, okay. Sorry.
Thanks for ruining my joke.
Sorry. All right. Where are we?
You had the note, but parking tickets.
So it was actually just before that we cut to the spaceship. He gets hassled by some of the guards.
By the cops.
Yeah.
And I rather insensitively said defund the NCP.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, these are pretty, they're mean people.
They're mean programs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. True.
Chances with me. Want me to slow down your power cycle?
So he's literally nicing that process, and he does not like it.
Yeah, I never really thought, like, how do the processes feel?
Well, that's one of the things that I always think about that. Like, if we are at this moment, the 4 of us living in a simulation, we don't know if our clock speed is being throttled, because our perception of the universe is just our perception of the universe. How would this guy know?
He's being swapped out to virtual memory. I think. So, like, everything else is moving fast. He's got to wait just to get a page back.
Don't you dare cash me, MCP. We do get a lot less notes as we go along through this. So
I mean, we could do this all night.
We could literally walk through this entire movie, every frame. So I don't know how many times I saw this as a kid, but I always saw it on a VHS tape. I never saw it on a higher res scan or anything. And it was not until I watched it this time. It's you can see like there's a little tiny white dot in the center of the green square. It was this time, I was this many years old when I realized that we are zooming in on him standing at his podium. And there's a lot of directing reasons for that. It's really small, it's VHS, but also he's then shot off center, so we don't get it's not as visually clear that we've just pushed in on him. I just thought it was weird. I was this old, guys.
Of the MCP. You will each receive an identity disc.
So at this moment, every kid is like, well, this is what my Frisbee is now.
Yep.
Well, not every, not every kid.
Not
the
Rosemary.
Roseboom household.
Not every-
Roseboom.
No.
Rosebooms went around and beat up kids and threw their frisbees in the ditch.
Me and my friends thought our frisbees were still frisbees. Because that's a stupid weapon. You know who else has a weapon like that years later? Xena. There you go.
If there would have been a 5th Ninja Turtle, he would have got that.
Yeah, I like this.
Everything.
This setup.
It's one of the few times that we see like an orange tone. Everything is like the really harsh blues and reds and black and whites for that door.
Yeah, until the end when they dress up the world after. Yeah.
Yep.
But, okay.
I don't know. You're right, Nate. Everything about this sequence just makes me so happy.
So good.
I don't want to get us struck, but we do get to skip 6 minutes now.
Wow, cool.
I do like the fight scene.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's good.
I mean, everything about it, man.
And Londo is toast.
Yep.
Oh, wait. Oh, we got to go 45, 28.
And everyone who ever reviews Pac-Man in the modern... like Tron in the modern age points out, hey, it's Pac-Man. Hey, it's Pac-Man. Hey, it's Pac-Man.
And I was just surprised that it was like there are such obvious Easter eggs in this movie.
Yep.
And that was one of them.
Apparently you have to drink, Rob.
Oh, crap.
I loved the power scene, the lake of power.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That was neat, but yeah.
It's one of the effects.
At this point, I put in so many notes,
It's one of those effects, though, that never quite works, but it's okay with me that it doesn't work.
That's because in the original version, they actually injected the power into their veins because it was time period. They had to cut that.
After Nancy Reagan got on TV.
Yeah. Actually, okay, so I'm going to use up probably a lame comment of my my Lebowski reference. I guess this is like a White Russian.
There you go.
Right?
He's got a beverage, man.
Russian. He's like, all right, he's got a beverage. He's got a solid beverage.
Careful, man. I got a beverage. Oh, wait, I actually have my beverage. I could like slosh around
exactly.
All right, let's see.
49.55 for Zen.
I don't know if I guess Nate might have this more than me, but isn't there a parable that's like straight up just like dudes drinking water out of their cupped hands or just sticking their face in the water? Like, isn't this like straight up biblical?
Yeah, no, there's a Bible story about they select the warriors based on how they drink water out of the river.
That sounds like a Saul kind of move.
So you can tell the guy, and it's about the guys who don't take their hands off their weapons. So the guy who's drinking out of his frisbee here, I guess, is God's chosen one.
Rob, did you have something here?
Yeah, I already said it.
Oh, all right. There's no way for me to know if you've already said it, Rob.
Well, it's the scene. It's the power drink.
That's true.
Right? So,
yeah.
There we go.
So then I just reiterated again that
hold on.
Encom was working on games, teleportation, and spacecraft. Solar sailor simulations of a spacecraft. But they're going to give it to the weirdo who hangs out with 14-year-olds. That's the idea.
Well, when you've got an AI capable of, 1,687 times smarter than when it was programmed, I mean, you got to dip your virtual tentacles into like a lot of digital pie. I don't know. This metaphor is not, it's getting away from me.
Mm-hmm.
Let's roll this
Just
back.
keep going.
Yeah.
There's Bit again.
Yeah. This is honestly my favorite 5 seconds of CGI. Starts at this moment.
The 10120.
10120. Yeah. So just hit play.
Let it roll.
Let it play for like 3 seconds. That's all you need.
All right. Zap.
Wang, 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 wang. And then you're done. I'm done.
I actually wanted to point out that I really like that they took the care to like break the foot off and like have it dangle and then maintained the broken foot through the rest of the thing. I enjoyed that.
It's just one of my favorite scenes. I don't know why. I've loved it ever since I was a kid. I look forward to this moment every time I watch this movie.
I'm right there with you. I like that too, for damn sure.
Yeah, so here's the point at which I would just start killing these guys all the time just to watch them like spin around, like entertaining.
This is just a video game.
And it takes no effort. I just throw the thing at them and they die.
Let's see. So the scene here, this whole scene, all of these cables look like crap.
Yeah.
Like every single shot. And this is like a minute-long sequence of them like climbing over these cables. And it's rough.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just like hop through.
This is where it stops looking like sort of visionary computer graphics and starts looking like 70s prog rock album
Right.
covers.
Right? Rush is definitely mad that they didn't get the soundtrack. That's actually another thing that I did want to note. For all the flaws of Tron Legacy, its soundtrack is fantastic, and the soundtrack to this
amazing.
movie is garbage. Like,
That's not true.
All
Listen,
right.
in defense of Wendy Carlos, she took the synthesizer to the nth degree for this movie. I mean, I would actually say that they both, Tron and Tron Legacy, were like, let's take the most technologically superior form of music and just go all the way, right? I mean, she did things with synthesizers that had never been done before.
So I know this isn't a reused piece of animation, but he's wearing a penis. And I feel like I have to drink just to make it through.
Rob, you're muted, man. You're saying great things and you're muted.
I'm saying, can you imagine what this poor man must have thought when they showed him this? They're like, this is what you're going to be in today, tomorrow, and the next day.
Yep.
And it's not like he was a unknown actor. I mean, this is Bernard Hughes, man. He did amazing work, you know?
And now he's in the penis head costume.
I feel like maybe this is how Ian McKellen...
He won a Tony. He won a Tony.
I feel like this might be how Ian McKellen felt when he was asked to reprise Gandalf for the Hobbit movies and then like fight Saruman, and you've got poor Christopher Lloyd. You've got Christopher Lee. These two like legendary accomplished actors just doing garbage. Like it's like this poor actor. I mean, this is a lot of fail right here. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
I got to find my mouse, which means we can look at him for a little longer.
Yeah. So the scene coming up, it's when Tron is communicating with his user Alan.
Yep.
And he says, "Yes, Alan won," because his username is Alan and the digit 1. And I was like, well, what if it was like a modern username? Like, and I came up with all these really filthy names, like, and so I didn't use them.
Most of them would either start or terminate with 3 X's.
Yes.
Or the number 69 or 420.
Nice.
These 3 things are allowed. Can I say?
Yeah, exactly.
My oldest, not yet a teenager, now routinely works the number 69 into any conversation possible. Doesn't really understand it, but exclusively so that he can say nice all the time.
Nice.
Nice. Like all the time. Like that happens in my house 5 times a day. I kind of love it. It's like, oh, you are absolutely my child.
Into the heart of the MCP.
Yeah, that's the Death Star core. Come on.
Yeah, don't kid yourself.
That's all. I
want to see the shot. I want to see him holding the thing. Look at that. I mean, come on.
Trailer shot.
A really good frisbee.
Yep.
This is a 350 gram Gonna fly like the wind from my my ultimate tournament.
This is an actual whammo frisbee, not something from the dollar store that you get on vacation. You know,
This is a high quality frisbee.
Yeah,
that's fine. That's the shot, though, right? I mean, if I picture Tron, I picture that. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah, that's the hero shot. Yes.
Good news, guys. We're almost through. It might not look like it, but it turns out not a lot happens in the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
This part I liked because we have one of the master control programs guys who just, when he sees what Tron has done, decides he's going to just off himself rather than fight Tron. So,
all right.
Yeah, hey, I'm dead now.
Screw this. That is pretty great. I mean, come on, he's Tron. And you don't fight the guy that's named the movie's named after. It's just a good life lesson.
Oh, this is me. So, in the unrated version, actually, Ram stumbles into a hidden porn folder and then becomes obsessed on how they ride their light cycles in there, and that's how they lose them. But, of course, you know, like they injecting the power, they had to clean that up, make it more family friendly. Yeah. And now we have this scene.
Ugh, just never the same.
I'm trying to remember what I wrote. Oh, yeah.
They love each other. Oh, crap. Getting tired.
Hidden Mickey.
Is there?
Yeah, look at it. You've paused on top of the hidden Mickey.
It is a hidden Mickey. Yeah, man.
Oh, I see it. Okay.
It is a Disney movie.
I see it. I see it. Wow, yeah.
That's what you were stopping for.
No, I'd not seen that before. It's sideways.
Yeah.
Serendipity.
Look at that. Hi, boys. It's me.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Who's that red fellow of yours? I need to talk to him.
No, it's time for Geeks in Space and pretend that we're all Mickey Mouse for 5 minutes.
I feel like we got to press play again.
Run! Hurry! Rob will do this forever. Don't nobody quote Beavis or Butthead. Did we get the 112-17? Oh, that was you, Rob.
Yeah.
14-17.
That was Ram's hidden porn folder.
Oh no!
Oh, yeah. This is the thing where the bugs come out, and even as a kid, I was like, this is too cute.
Yeah.
And they play the cute music, and I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
It's a Disney film. Okay.
And this is actually the scene where I was, the music especially, it just doesn't work. And this really does feel like, you know, a scene like from Alice in Wonderland or something, you know?
Yeah. Or lamer. Yeah. Anyways, so...
If those grid bugs get us, we've had it.
Ugh.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, so set up the next scene as you're scooching to it. You know, they go through the little deleter process or whatever in the big ship, and Flynn saves Yori, and it turns out he has the power to save people from deletion, right? And I'm like, well, but what about Ram? And like, they think Tron's dead. I mean, so he only saves women. Like only like this is a little iffy. Just saying.
I need your help. Come on.
I mean, he only undeletes women.
I would like to point out too that this is another good example of a shot where they really didn't try with the set. That set is literally just let's stand in front of the triangle and then run
local laser quest.
Yeah.
I have been to laser tag arenas that look better than this. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, so I had no idea, honestly, that South Park's Moses was based off a master program here, and I was like, holy shit. Wow. Look at that.
They really committed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's iconic, but it's also so stupid.
Yeah.
But I will say, I did spend a not insignificant number of quarters at the Grand Roller Rink playing Tron and trying to shoot that guy, so I could get past him. So maybe, I'm carrying a little bit of resentment.
Yeah, man, this whole movie aesthetically looks like Gatlinburg at midnight became a universe. I mean, there's so much neon colored light and nonsense in it. Ugh.
I'm little. Oh, man.
Now just the red lines.
Right. Well, he's been derezzed.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good way to save money. You just don't paint this one.
I got it. Steer us over by the beam.
So
right
dumb.
next to it.
What good will that do?
I'm gonna jump.
None.
I'm gonna jump. Yep.
You know that guy? He was gonna fight Tron, and instead he just jumped. I'm gonna do that.
Checks out. Can confirm. There's a lot of falling. It takes too long to do that too.
That really looks great. That's some of the best CG or some of the best
It's just so lame.
special effects.
Oh, this is rough.
It's so hard to watch this.
I don't want to keep going. It's bad, guys. This one's rough.
Yep. Anyway. So then they play the teletype sounds as the old guy takes over the spot where the MCP used to be. Because, teletype, that's what you want to preserve.
Right.
General AI, the singularity.
Get rid of it.
Teleportation.
Waste of time.
Solar sailors.
That was just depression for the man.
And he actually monetized Space Paranoids. All Flynn did was like sketch it out and write the beginnings of it. Yeah.
Right. He just wrote the engine, man.
Well, I mean, it's not like it's not good work. It's fine work. But it's not teleportation or AI.
That's true. It's also not the really cool door.
Right? That's all I was.
Oh, actually, I'm going to actually let a little bit of this run. I will say, it concerns me how much faster they can reconstitute him than they can, digitize him. That took a lot longer, and that kind of concerns me.
That would have been extraordinarily painful. You are getting deleted inch by inch.
Yeah, but they had a stasis technology, and they were like, boop, 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 and they just didn't need it for the rebuilding. I don't know.
And thank God this got printed out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
He certainly couldn't have printed this himself and got his job back,
Also, what program has this kind of annotations for the file attributes? I'm like, is this a database access record that came out of the NCOM MX16923?
Yeah, this is
end of line.
This is the copyright parameter to LS.
Mm-hmm.
LS-LAME.
LS-Flynn.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. This is our last note.
I also just note that this really just begins the battle. We've got at least 10 years of legal battles ahead of us
for sure
until the next helicopter scene. And
and also, let's be clear, in a big company, it's not like you can say, well, I wrote that. It's like, actually, no, the company wrote that.
Right.
So what we chose to do with it ain't up to you, Flynn.
I mean, they spelled that out earlier. He was developing this on company hardware after dark. And I have to assume that in the 80s, that just pretty much means they own his stuff.
Right.
Well, and we're not even talking about the accidental digitizations that happen.
Exactly.
Or so that happened in the years after this. So
yeah.
but now he's the CEO.
Yep.
Yeah, and it has a helicopter who's extremely unsafe.
Yeah.
Did you see the angle he took off that building?
He buzzed up the side of the building.
Yeah.
10 feet from the wall.
Almost vertically.
Check out how fuzzy that sweater is. That's very 80s.
Oh, believe me, we all noticed as young people how fuzzy the sweater was.
We did it.
Oh,
we're friends.
I don't have to wear t-shirts now. I can wear nice suits.
I'm running a company with a teleporter.
Yeah, right.
Then we have the shot of the city.
Yeah.
Is it so much different than the Tron
master
world?
control program.
Wah, wah, wah. Mind blown. I get what they're trying to do. I just think they should have done a lot better.
And also, this is so clearly just they took a picture off the side of the studio. This is just Glendale. This is like not even Glendale. This is like Eagle Rock. It's like kind of shitty, you know. I mean, they didn't even point in the direction of the mall. You know, they pointed at like all the low-slung little office building.
So, guys, we did it. That was Tron.
It's I-10.
There it is.
I enjoyed that movie so much more than I thought I was going to.
Oh, it's a great movie.
Like Time Bandits.
Roseboom's wrong.
Time Bandits, I come out with like liking it less than I did, but Tron, I come out liking it a little more.
Yeah.
But Rob, you know,
Sorry. It's got I'll give you the kernel of the story is okay. I mean, I think Wreck-It Ralph did a way better job of showing what a computer world would be. This to me is kind of like, you ever see Moses Jones? This is just that, but in a computer instead of a human body.
True.
I get what movie they're trying to make and what story they're trying to tell. I just hate the way it looks. I wish they would have fleshed stuff out more. Like you said, it's like a half an hour before you even go into the world there. It just, yeah. Not for me.
Not for you, but this is an important movie to me. You know,
I'm glad you enjoy it, and I know a lot of people really like it. Just not my cup of tea.
I mean, is it your turn to pick the next movie? Because this could be a real good chance for some revenge.
Rosebooms? Yeah, I think so.
Mulda, I'm not out for revenge, but it will be so sweet, and you will all hate me so much. Because do you know why? Because I'm not looking for it. It just happens.
It's built in.
That's horrifying.
It occurs at the kernel level.
Yeah.
Ring zero. Jerks.
All right. I'll have to think about what movie we're watching. I promise I'll be gentle. I have a couple ideas.
Excellent. I'm excited. Any final words before we rock out, gentlemen?
Just remember the user. Always remember the user.
That's right.
I'm going to go pray to my user right after this.
I'm not sure, but guys, I think that my user might look like me.
Everyone thinks that.
Weird religious nuts.
Is that why Jesus is always white?
Yeah. So Sid Mead was the lead designer on this thing, which was another thing I thought was kind of neat. So we had him in Blade Runner too, right? So
it's a lot, guys. We did it. We made it through another episode. Let's thank Chris DeBona.
You're welcome.
Nate Ostendorp. Rob Roseboom.
See ya.
This has been episode 470 something or other of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Taco Malda. We'll see you guys tomorrow with the news.